bring everybody's attention to the people who have been running the mentorship program day in, day out. And so starting, of course, with Evan Paluca, Lee Friedman, Laura Perutian, and Akara Carter, being really different roles. You've been receiving emails from people of all times of day, and, well, not nights, but late evenings, meetings, late Friday evenings, and so on. Of course, with our mentors as well, that I'll have the opportunity to recognize in a minute. So here we go, very briefly. See Yourself in STEM is a mentorship program that is based on a team approach. What that means is that there are several STEM mentors, STEM professionals that work as mentors, and a group of dedicated staff that I mentioned earlier that work with students who are divided in small groups, and each one of them working on a project. We know from research that this approach is most effective for all those STEM mentoring programs that are trying to expose our youth to a wide range of expertise that we know is needed for a wide range of diverse projects, as the project that our students have worked on are. So I'm not going to go through the details, but essentially, what our youth have been working so far is really identify a personal local environmental challenge that connects to global issues as presented by the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Then the first big milestone that they had to achieve by January was to create a video that was about this issue they want to tackle, but it was going to be submitted for this competition, Teens Dream Changemaker Challenge, that we are going to talk about today. So just mentioning there. The next big milestone was to submit a proposal for this other program called Lemonster MIT Invent Team, that is all again about project-based learning and really finding solutions to relevant local issues. And we will give you updates about this application halfway through today's presentation, which of course you can imagine. I'm smiling, so must be a positive one. I also want to make sure to thank and acknowledge all the different organizations that provided some financial support for the See Yourself in STEM mentorship program. First of all, the Framingham State University Foundation, that they were definitely the first funders to support this project, was just an idea on a piece of paper. And then the cultural councils from Framingham, Milford, and Marlborough have been supporting the mentorship program from the start and continue to do so. MathWorks. And then, of course, the Massachusetts STEM Pipeline Fund is a fund from the state of Massachusetts, of course, as a mentorship program is a way for us to respond to their call to focus on the power of mentoring to support young people on their pathways to STEM careers or STEM-related careers. And of course, the Smithsonian's Women's Committee that was specifically instrumental to support our work on the video competition project. Who took part in our project? Well, the mentorship program is a program of the MetroWest STEM Education Network, but designed, coordinated and managed by the Krista McCullough Center. You know that many of us here wear both hats. I would say all of us were part of the staff. We wear both hats of MetroWest and Krista McCullough. We partnered with 3 fantastic and high schools, or actually fantastic students from this 3 high school, Framingham, Milford, and Marlborough High School. And we will learn more from them, of course, as they present today. Of course, this project also benefits from a collaboration that goes back now a few years in terms of various initiatives we've been working on with the Smithsonian affiliation programs, through whom we got funding to work on the video project. And Framingham Access, the local TV station, and last but definitely not least, mentors from 6+ MetroWest based industries and organizations. And let me give a big shout out to our mentors. As you can see, we have both industries, various organizations, including local schools, but also individual consultant. So you see all of them here. It's not all of them listed by name, but you know who you are. Some of you are here on the call today. In fact, this might be an opportunity to ask, if you wish, you want to rename yourself for the mentors, just to add mentor to your name on Zoom. And for the students, if you could just add a student. Not that we wouldn't know, but what I'm saying is that so as part of to facilitate the conversation, it might be easier, but in particular for the mentors, if you can identify yourself so we can thank you even better during the conversation that will follow. But again, we are here today to specifically focus on the results and the products of the video products that our youth produce for the Teens Dream Changemaker Challenge. That is a global competition sponsored by the Global Collab Network and in partnership with the Smithsonian Institution. That's really the focus of today's presentation. And on that note, I can actually stop sharing now. And perfect. With that introduction, so I want to mention to all the students who are here and our guests that we have two guests that will give us more context for the competition. And one is Linda Staheli. I see she's joined us. Linda, I would like to bring you on the screen first. She's, of course, the founder of the Collab Network, but also really the brain and the heart behind the Teens Video Competition. So Linda, could you tell us a little bit more about the competition?
Yeah, thank you so much, Irene. My name's Linda, and I'm the founder and director of the Global Collab, and it's great to be here. I'm really honored and so impressed with everything you're doing at the McAuliffe Center. And Irene, I'm honored to be here. We have had a really outstanding collaboration with the Smithsonian since 2017. And Brian Coyle, who's I think here, has worked with our organization on a range of ways to engage youth, focused primarily on sustainability and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And then we were so excited to meet Jennifer with the affiliates program at the Smithsonian and partner for this particular collaboration that brought you in. We are a nonprofit based in Arlington. We engage youth ages 13 to 35, but most of our focus tends to focus on teenagers across the world. We do work to engage them as change makers. We do this two ways, one through a global video competition, which is how we've engaged with you. The second is really bringing teenagers into virtual rooms that meet weekly, and they're led by teens, working with adult mentors to move the action forward in a collaborative way. And we work to provide them every resource we can, including interns that work with them, platforms, websites, social media interns that help them, funding, and most importantly, contacts and networks to help teens be change makers around their passions. So those are the SDG hubs, and those are also on our website. And the video competition, we're in our 8th year. We have engaged over 40 countries and hundreds of teens, and each submitter is a winner in our eyes. They all have a page on our website with their video. You can see it geographically and also by SDG. I could go on, but I know you're pressed for time, Irene. Thank you so much. We're excited.
Well, thank you, Linda. Absolutely. We are excited now to really show the product of the work of our students, but to know that each one of them has a page on your website is really exciting. So no further ado, Evan, I'll pass the baton to you. You will guide us through today's presentations.
Great, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Evan. I am one of the program facilitators for See Yourself in STEM. We are really excited to showcase our 8 teams today and have a presentation from them. For our structure, so we have 8 teams. We'll break it into 2 sections. So we'll start with 4 teams, then we'll have a break. We'll hear from Jennifer from the Smithsonian. We'll have a chance for some questions and answers. We'll have our second group of 4 present, and then again, a larger time for questions and answers at the end. During each presentation, if you have a question and you don't want to forget, feel free to use the chat. We will get to those questions during one of the breaks, but feel free to use the chat to input any questions. And with that, I am going to turn it over to our water pollution group. You are our first group to present. Let me pull up your slides. Also, before we begin, just a reminder, we are recording this session, so we'll be able to share the session at a later date. And with that, for our water pollution team, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Our project focuses on reducing single-use plastic water bottle waste at Framingham High School. Next slide. My name is Olivia Ramito, and I am a junior.
My name is Elizabeth Sheck, and I'm a senior. We have 2 other members on our team, but unfortunately, they're unable to make it today. Their names are Sarah Olson and Andrew Subramaniam. Before we get started, we just wanted to thank our wonderful group of mentors who devoted their time to offer this and help us develop our ideas over the past hour. The problem that we're addressing is water pollution resulting from plastic pollution at Framingham High School. We chose this topic because one of the main problems at our school is the abundance of plastic water bottle waste. Our goal is to develop an app that will encourage and incentivize students to utilize the water refill stations at school, which will reduce the plastic water bottle consumption. Our project focuses on UN Sustainable Development Goal number 12, which is ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. Next slide.
This is the video that we submitted for the Teens Dream video competition hosted by the Global Collab Network in partnership with the Smithsonian. It discusses the importance of the problem we are discussing and our thought process behind our solution.
The battle for access to clean, safe drinking water has been fought time and time again. But what happens when people don't trust their access? The perception of the water quality at Framingham High School influences the choices that students and faculty make in order to drink clean water. Looking at the results from our survey that received over 350 responses, about 45% of people said they only feel comfortable drinking from certain water fountains, and some people don't trust it at all. But why? According to water quality tests, Framingham High School has extremely safe and clean water compared to other towns. But because of the perception students and faculty have about the safety and cleanliness of the water coming from the water fountains, they would rather buy and drink out of bottled water from the vending machine. The purchase of these unnecessary bottled waters from the vending machines create more plastic waste that falls into landfills every single day. UN Sustainable Development Goal 12 is about responsible production and consumption of water, energy, and food. With the population of the world ever expanding, the sustainability of water is becoming more of an issue. More than 1 billion people still do not have access to fresh water. But in Framingham, there is reliable, safe, and clean access, but people would rather buy plastic water bottles. In order to become more sustainable, the trust needs to be brought back. There needs to be more education on where Framingham's water actually comes from and its safety. Most people do not know that Framingham gets its water from the Quabbin Reservoir in western Massachusetts, safely guarded by trees and wildlife. But as you drive around Framingham, you see polluted reservoirs that are no longer in use, giving off the image that Framingham's water comes off the side of the highway. Sending out information to the students and faculty by social media and posters around the school showing evidence of the water's safety and the negative effect that plastic waste has on the sustainability of the community, we hope to see a change in responses in a 6-month post-survey. With these results, we can make this change.
Our project process has consisted of 5 main steps. First, we obtained survey results about the students' water fountain habits and their perceptions on the cleanliness of Framingham water. And then we analyzed the data and discussed how we can make a positive change at our school. We met with experts and discussed the various options for using technology to achieve our goal. And then we weighed out our options and decided on a final idea before creating our prototype. We're currently on step 5, which is developing our prototype. Our prototype is a website that will inform and incentivize students to reduce their consumption of plastic water bottles. Next slide.
This is the design of our solution. First, students will arrive at water refill stations located around the high school, where they will find and scan the QR code. It will take them to our app, and in the app, they will find learning modules. It will also keep track of the number of water bottles saved for each grade and provide students with incentives to continue using the water refill stations and to continue learning more about the effects of plastic waste. Next slide.
Right now, our main focus is how we can transform our prototype into an app. We plan to make improvements by testing our app with a pilot group, receiving feedback from them, and making adjustments as needed. Next slide.
We are from Framingham High School, and we hope to reduce the amount of plastic water bottle waste at our school. Thank you so much for listening, and we encourage you to ask any questions in the chat or during the Q&A portion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For our next group is a group from Marlborough High, looking at litter pollution within Marlborough.
Hello, everyone. We are Project Ocelot. Next slide, please. My name is Tara Pierre, and I am a junior.
Hi, I'm Jonah Zimmerman. I'm a junior at Marlborough High School, and yeah.
I'm Paulo Borges. I'm also a junior at Marlborough High School.
I'm Ayub Asawi. I'm a sophomore at Marlborough High School.
I'm Eduardo Castro. I'm a sophomore at Marlborough High School.
And we are Team Ocelot. As students from Marlborough High School, our project is centralized on raising awareness about the heavy infiltration of litter within our community, within our city of Marlborough. Through combating the situation plaguing our community, our solution is to create a mobile app in which users can detect and identify litter within our community. Next slide, please. So here's our video that we submitted for this year's United Nations Teen Dreams competition in order to bring awareness to the issue of littering within our community. Hope you enjoy.
As time has gone by, a large amount of litter has affected our community's environment. Cups, bottles, food and candy wrappers, e-cigarettes, and cigarettes are filling our streets.
Not only is it disheartening to see how filthy our streets have gotten, but also concerning. Many of these parks and entertainment centers are meant for families with younger children. Do we really want our children to inhabit spaces filled with trash, even containing drugs and alcohol littered on the floor?
Growing up in the cherished city of Marlborough, our memories have been charged with exciting annual Labor Day parades, enormous holiday festivities, and entertainment all around. Although we have access to these exciting accommodations, our city's environment is threatened. Threatened, that is, by harmful waste.
As current students of Marlboro High, we have noticed that our environment and streets have continuously been infiltrated with litter that could affect it. Within our city's reservoirs, there have been significant amounts of petroleum and trash dumped, leaving visible markings. These issues are international, and we are addressed by the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 11.
At the center of this issue is the community. We need to get people to litter less and clean up the trash that's already there. That's where our app comes in, as a means of community-driven collaboration. It would be a GPS map that displays user-reported litter levels in the city, allowing people to find high amounts of trash, clean it up, and report it back to the app, which would then update that area's displayed litter levels.
Our app could be complemented with a combination of small prize competitions, small business support, community service requirements, and in-app rewards in order to incentivize user interaction.
Although these ideas are very promising, the only way we will achieve a healthy community is if we take that first step and work together.
So our work so far. After we reached a general consensus of how we are going to combat the issue of littering within our community, we decided to develop test trials that will be used to collect data about our subjects' willingness to use our desired prototype. So with the help of Ayub Asawi and Valentina Ayala, who is not able to make it today, we set up methods of communications through Google Classroom for our test subjects, which include members of our school's National Honor Society and members of the Tri-Music Honor Society. Through collecting data from our subjects, we will apply that data to research the vital programming that will become necessary for the creation of our app, and that will better the creation of our app.
The thing about an app based off of user contributed data is that it's dependent on the amount of people contributing data to it. But how do we make people interested in contributing this data? Well, our focus test is already set up to find out how to answer that question.
This is our current timeline. First focus test to test people's motivations on the actual working of the app. And then our focus testers will be using a basic form of the actual app. And we want a functional app by June with a working prototype of the application.
Excellent job. Great job, Team Ocelot. Thank you. Our next group from Framingham High School is focused on improving the quality of air in downtown Framingham. With that, I would like to turn it over to our air pollution team from Framingham High.
Hi, everyone. So my name's Essa Saloy, and we're from Framingham High School. Next slide. Okay, so this is our team. So I'm a junior, and then Sivana is not here today, and TJ is not here today, as well as Emmanuel, but we do have Alexis and Seth. Next slide.
So the mentors that helped us were Akara Carter, Suba, Cal, and Jenny. Next slide, please. So our focus were UN goals 10 and 11, which is reducing racial inequalities and creating sustainable cities and communities. And we decided to do this by lessening the North and South Framingham racial disparity by using moss wall installations to remove CO2 particles from the air in South Framingham. Next slide, please.
Framingham sits in the center of Massachusetts, while North Framingham consists of open air spaces such as parks, gardens, and lots of trees, You can travel a couple miles down south to primarily BIPOC populated Framingham and see it's a different story. As small businesses, apartment complexes dominate the area, the traffic rate in Framingham is higher than ever.
7 million people die each year due to air pollution, according to the World Health Organization. If this environmental problem is not addressed soon, it can not only affect the citizens of Framingham, but the entire world. How will we solve this problem? We plan to tackle both SDG UN Goals 10 and 11 through carbon capture.
This process will allow our racially diverse South Framingham to filter out the CO2 in the air just like the North Side can. Carbon capture traps carbon dioxide at its emission source and transports it to an isolated storage location.
We will capture carbon emissions by implementing MOS air filters. As stated by the Max Planck Institute for Chemistry, MOS has been shown to take up huge amounts of atmospheric carbon dioxide to fix at Earth's surface.
We will measure the amount of CO2 captured by a MOS filter using Dr. Christian Tucci-Gabuche's rendered method.
This method determines the estimated amount of CO2 captured annually in MOS using its total green weight and its carbon weight. The chemical composition of the CO2 will finalize the weight of carbon dioxide captured by our filters.
In our 6-month time frame, we intend to propose the idea to the city for funding, calculate the CO2 captured by our MOS air filters using Dr. Gabuche's method, and encourage the spread of clean air for everyone in Framingham.
Our current progress is that we plan to meet with FSC professors on Monday, April 26th, and after that we gather materials for our prototype, find suitable locations for our prototype, and start recording our data. And then after that, we're going to make a final conclusion and revise the prototype to try to eventually make a final product. Next slide. For our development, we plan to work with Framingham State University to develop a working prototype for peat moss, experiment to determine the effectiveness of a prototype, gather data using the AQI machine, which is the air quality index machine. And our team's big question is how will this affect Framingham in the long run? And these are some of our prototypes we've been conjuring up. Next slide.
Okay. Oh, wait, can you go back to the slide, Evan? So I wanted to talk a little bit about the prototype ideas that we have. So we're thinking about a Z structure, and the Z represents like Gen Z. So we're thinking about having moss on the top and then also on the bottom of the Z, and as well as having a system where the water pumps itself back to the top. So it would be self-watering, so it would be low maintenance. Next slide. We want to say thank you for listening to our presentation. If you have any questions, just type it in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Our next group is a group from Milford High focusing on improving the recycling efforts in their school. So with that, I will turn it over to our trash and recycling group.
All right. Hi, we are Clean Schools for a Clean Planet, presented by Haley Janssens, Madeline Stockeye, and Isabella Shady. We are all sophomores from Milford High School, and our group has been mentored by Kathleen and Nicole. The problem that we are facing is a lack of participation in the recycling system at our school. We are creating a mobile application that will help students track when they recycle and sort their data into grade-based teams that will encourage participation in a fun way. This will also serve as an education platform that will teach students about the impact of recycling. Our team chose this topic because we have seen that our school's recycling program, when in operation, is not largely effective. And now that it is not running due to the pandemic, we know how much of a difference we can make. Next slide.
Imagine this. You are going to school and you have a plastic water bottle.
Then, at lunch, you buy a salad that comes in a plastic container. Then, in class, a teacher has you open a new package of paper. This is just one person's waste. Think about the amount of recyclables created by every student every day. It adds up. According to the EPA, 66% of paper and cardboard was recycled, 27% of glass, and 8% of plastics. We create a lot of waste throughout the day, and most of us don't even think twice about where it goes once it's out of our hands. It's up to us to be more mindful of our waste. Our team wants to improve the recycling system, starting with our local schools here in Milford, Massachusetts. We will make use of informative posters and videos to educate students and teachers on effective recycling techniques. Specialized recycling bins will be placed around the school to reduce the amount of recycling that ends up in landfills and in our environment. Clean schools are the first step to a clean planet. By focusing on recycling in schools in Milford, Massachusetts, we are working towards the United Nations Sustainability Goal 12 on a local level. This goal promotes sustainable consumption and production of goods. Recycling can help keep waste out of landfills and can be used to produce new products. By improving our school's recycling system, we will work towards a sustainable community and a cleaner environment. In 6 months, we believe that our plan can be implemented in our local schools. We will work with our school's administration to manage this program. If it is successful, we can reach out to other schools in nearby towns and help them implement a similar solution. It's our waste. It should be our problem.
We started this project early on in the school year, and originally our solution focused on education and smart recycling bins. We created a video to outline our goals and submitted it to an international competition, and our video got recognition for grant money for our project. Since then, we have sent out an online survey to the population of our school and realized that a mobile app would be the best way to combat our problem. Now we are designing experiments to be tested at our high school that will collect data on our recycling to best cater our app for local use. We plan to hold a control to measure normal recycling, which will be compared to later experiments to test the impact of grade-based competitions and the use of a beta version of our app. We are also learning how to code in order to create an app that is visually appealing and user-friendly. If we move to the next slide, you can see our progress on designing this. We have started to learn coding languages such as HTML, JavaScript, and CSS to code our app with the aid of other students and mentors. Next slide. Next, our team will implement our experiments and start developing a prototype for our app. We hope to be able to release a usable prototype sometime in the near future. Our big questions are, will our app successfully increase the recycling participations in our schools? And can our app be successfully influential on our students? We will focus on how we can best shape our app to make it appealing to users and to keep people using it. I hope you enjoyed our presentation and our project. Again, we are Clean Schools for a Clean Planet from Milford High School.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Great presentations, everyone. At this point, I would like to, before we break for questions, I would like to invite Jennifer from the Smithsonian Affiliations to say a couple words. Jennifer?
Well, hi, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting the Smithsonian to be here today. I can't begin to express just how proud and pleased we are to partner with the McAuliffe Center on this project. You know, the McAuliffe Center is one of the most active and engaged and creative affiliates in the Smithsonian's network of over 200 partners nationwide. And so we were already busy working on projects before this door opened to us. But this has really opened up just a spectrum of possibilities for us to learn from and work with young people around Framingham. So thank you for that. And I want to say too, to the students and the mentors, thank you, but also to Linda for giving us this great opportunity to collaborate around the Changemaker Challenge, which was just immensely inspiring. We got over 170 videos from all over the world. And I did want to mention that for the first, I was honored to be part of a 15-member jury, along with some other staff at the Smithsonian, but also youth activists and other environmental leaders. And the jury decided that for the first time ever, we would give the McAuliffe Center a mentor award, because when we got to the final round of videos, we decided that we wanted to award 20 total. And the videos from the McAuliffe Center were of such outstanding quality, and there were so many of them that we hoped that giving a slightly larger mentor award would help to just motivate and realize more of these projects than a single award could. So congratulations on that accomplishment. And I will also just say that what you're doing, what you're demonstrating through the mentorship relationships that you've set up really demonstrate to us a belief that we hold very dear, and that is that mentorship is an absolutely critical component to youth activism. Not only are the students learning as a cohort and they're bouncing ideas off of each other and their mentors, but there's also a really wonderful reciprocal arrangement, I believe, that the mentors gain new perspectives perhaps on with the fresh eyes of their students about how to approach these problems. Certainly, we've learned about new tools from these digital natives that we might not have otherwise thought about using, and certainly inspired by their just intrepid problem solving and their commitment to making action and to making their communities better. And of course, the mentors themselves can give so much, can give access to their own networks and resources that students may not have known about otherwise. So you're setting an amazing example. We're proud to be in partnership with you and to encourage these great projects. And congratulations to all the students on all your hard work.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. Now comes a great time where we can ask questions of our teams that have presented. And for those of you who are joining us, a key part of the mentorship program, as we've had many sessions of peer and professional feedback and reviews. So we are open to questions, open to feedback. So I am going to open the floor. And again, you can use the chat. We have a few of the facilitators monitoring the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question of our teams.
This is Deborah. I'll jump in and start with a question to the water pollution team. To Olivia, I see you have learning incentives as part of your solution design. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're developing learning incentives and what that means?
Yeah, so we felt that incentives were a really great way to encourage students to make a change. And as we continue with our prototype, we plan on reaching out to local businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a store, to develop some incentives such as a discount or a deal for students. And we really want to support our local businesses, and we want the entire community to be involved as part of the solution. So I think that this is a great way to get everyone in the community involved.
Thank you.
Actually, Linda, if you would like to share, will you just put on the chat if you want to share it on camera?
I just was going to say that Olivia and some other teams that have been involved in our video contest have joined our hubs. And Olivia, do you want to just, I'm putting you on the spot, but what has it been like for you to join our hubs, and which ones are you in?
Yeah, so I joined 5 different hubs actually. I'm part of the climate hub, the racial justice hub, the gender equality hub, the mental health hub, and the plastics hub. And it's been a really great opportunity to just engage with teens from all over the world and work on different projects that are related to things that I'm interested in. So it's really just been a great experience.
I was just going to say that there's so many cool ideas that your teens and other teens come up with in the video contest. And I would love, I mean, I was thinking of the recycling in schools. I bet every school could improve their recycling. And this is such, you know, whatever you learn at your high school, you know, lessons learned from working with this, sharing it with other schools and teens would just be so cool. So that's something that can be done through our hubs networks. And I'm just excited. Thanks, Olivia.
I think we have a question in the chat from Laura. I wonder if we could address it to maybe one of the teams. So let's say the air pollution. Maybe that's easy though. But Laura was asking if you were surprised to discover about sustainability issues in your local community. You probably weren't too much, but could you tell us how much aware were you before doing the video? How much aware were you about sustainability issues in Framingham in this case?
For me personally, I was kind of aware of it because I live in like downtown Framingham. So I would like walk down there and like see how crowded it is and like sometimes how it could be become foggy. So like for me, it was just like a way to like help out my community and like the neighborhood that I live in. That's why.
Yeah, and to add on to said, I also live downtown, and Framingham is like turning into a city. It's becoming more suburban and more urban, and that's causing a lot of traffic and air pollution. And so I was noticing that throughout, like Seth was saying, just throughout living there.
Yeah, do you think that this, not just the video, but the whole project you're working on will help get your message? You know, you're aware that this is an important issue. Do you think you will really be able to speak to the people who should pay attention to this?
For me, I think it would raise awareness because once one person starts, like, more people can just join in and it becomes a big collaborative project. So like that's kind of my goal of it. But like I feel like it just takes like a community-driven project. Because once we start it, and then we can have people going on it and adding on to whatever ways that's needed.
It looks like we have another question in the chat from Linda. And this one maybe we could direct towards our trash and recycling team about engaging stakeholders in your process. So wondering if anyone from the trash and recycling team would like to talk a little bit about maybe what you have done or what you're planning to do.
Yeah, so we've talked to the administration at our schools, and we plan to, once we get our prototypes out and we're able to show them the school's response to these projects, that we can get them to work with us a little bit more. We know that hopefully once our app is up, we'll be able to, like, both of us, all of us are sophomores, so we'll be able to control it for a couple more years, and then maybe we can pass it on to another team, or even pass it on to administration, because our like competitions shouldn't be overly difficult to like keep going if the app is continued to be used, hopefully.
Excellent. I think now would be a great time to move to our next group of presentations. We'll have 3 presentations from 3 teams, and then one of our teams is unable to be here today, but we have their video that we'll be able to show. Following the presentations, we will have another chance for some questions and answers, but I am pleased to hand the floor over to a team from Marlborough focusing on food waste within their cafeteria. Our food waste team, the floor is yours.
Oh, and before I forget, Evan, I sent you an updated version of the slideshow because something didn't load. Is that like the updated version I sent you just right now?
It is, yes.
Okay. So yeah, hello, my name is Jordan Batista, and I'll be presenting our project. My other partner will too, but I'll just present like one slide after another. So yeah, so we are the food waste group, and we're from Marlborough, Massachusetts, and I'm a 9th grader, and yeah, like at Marlborough High School. Next slide, please.
So what's our problem/goal? Our problem goal is to reduce the amount of food waste or food being thrown away and used within Marlborough High School. We would accomplish this by composting some food that is wasted, as well as donating excess amounts of food. We also plan on spreading awareness on the whole situation through QR codes and graphics. We also plan on
So these are our group members. I am Jordan Bautista, like I said before, and I'm from Marlborough High, and
I'm Evan
yeah,
Davis from
Evan,
Marlborough
just
High
present
School.
yourself.
And I'm in 9th grade. I'm Evan Davis from Marlborough High School.
And yeah, these are some of our mentors, Miss Shenier and Miss Enger. We would like to thank them for like helping us throughout the school year on developing our project. Next slide, please. And here's our video.
Within the Marlborough Public School system, the amount of food being wasted is an issue. People are throwing out nutritious snacks such as apples and carrots in favor of bags of chips and other iconic snacks. We have lived most of our lives in Marlborough and seen the impact of these unhealthy choices towards food services. Whether it's during or outside of school, the amount of food that is unused within our cafeterias is huge. This has an effect towards our school lunch shuttle programs, as not as many people are accepting these nutritious lunches. Taken from me, for example, as I've seen these vans completely full. Our problem relates to the SDG goal of ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being. We believe it's important to address this problem towards the people of our age to make better options for their health in general. In order to ensure our goals, actions must be taken so that kids have healthier foods to eat. One of the many ways we can encounter this situation is by limiting unhealthy snacks among our cafeterias to open the minds of students on making better choices. Aside from that, we plan on providing other food options while meeting lunch requirements by the state. Also, we plan on reducing the amount of uneaten food within our cafeterias by donating them towards our city's food pantry at Marlborough. Food that can't be given out will be given towards local farms. There is always going to be problems with everything, including with the food that the school supplies and influencing these ideas, but we hope that some students will feel encouraged to make healthier choices. Throwing food in the trash is never the answer. You can always give it to someone else who may want it or bring it home, because you can never go wrong with a healthy snack.
I'll be reading the slide. Okay. So our project development process. Our group is observing similar methods that other schools have applied on composting and donating towards their community. We have weekly meetings where we gather and brainstorm on ideas we have come up with during the week to improve on our project when it's ready on the fall of 2021. Our next step is establishing a booth and reach out to school fields by projects. Oh, let me say something I have to pull up.
Our progress. So far, we've narrowed down ideas we brainstormed and researched the solutions we considered, such as composting unused food, which includes donating to community gardens, which includes composting unused foods, as well as donating to community gardens or creating ones ourselves, reaching out to local farms, and donating to Marlborough's food pantry.
Excellent job, food waste. Our next group from Milford High School is looking at the impact of Amazon on their town. I'd like to turn it over to our Amazon Apocalypse group.
Hi, we're Amazon Apocalypse, and our team consists of Natalie, Mason, Anchita, Shane, and Owen. We're from Milford High School, and we're consisted of freshmen and sophomores. We're mentored by Matt, Jeff, and Kaylee. So our goal is to decrease the CO2 emissions that Amazon has made throughout our town due to their trucks. We plan on collaborating with Amazon on making Milford a tester town for their electric vehicles. And the reason why is Amazon has started to impact Milford in a very negative way. Further on this next slide with our video.
The recent rise in online shopping has caused serious problems in Milford, Mass. Since we have an Amazon distribution facility in town. The massive amount of vans has resulted in many extra problems. Packaging also fills up landfills. The extra vans are releasing double the amount of CO2 as it would have without them. Extra vans on the road cause more traffic. With more cars sitting in traffic, more cars release CO2 emissions due to idling. Amazon's presence on the road in Milford has gotten to the point where both the townspeople and the selectmen have gone to the state for help with this issue. Problems with this traffic range anywhere from slower commute times to much more CO2 emissions due to extra vehicles on the road.
We plan to change that by working with Amazon to create a sustainable plan that lessens their effect on our town and the environment. We plan to work with Amazon on this problem and develop a solution that meets the needs of both of us. We want to meet with Amazon at least 3 times before the middle of 2021. By the end of 2021, we want to have 10% of their Milford delivery fleet electric.
The way we will work with Amazon is through their spokesperson at our facility. Since we have their contact information, we will be able to work directly with them to demand our requests for change. If Amazon does not follow through, we will publicize their failure to put pressure on the company and light a fire under them to get them moving.
In conclusion, by working with Amazon in the town of Milford, we hope to make a sustainable environment that is safe for everyone now and in the generations to come.
So what we've accomplished so far is we've researched our problem and solution, and not just our solution, but past solutions, because we figured that using those to help our current solution will make our solution the most effective as it can be. We've provided data for InventTeam grant application, and we found the most effective solution, like I said earlier, using past solutions to help us develop ours. Communication is definitely key. So we want to communicate with Amazon and the town of Milford so that we can effectively work with both of them to get to work on our problem and solve it. We're working on prototypes of some models and an app, pulling together an action plan. So some of our prototypes are a model solar charging garage, an electric vehicle, looking at electric vehicle efficiency and CO2 emissions data, and a tracking route app. and even normal US grid power and an inefficient electric van can reduce emissions by over 90%, meaning that even in the worst case scenario with an electric van, we're already reducing emissions by almost 100% or over 90%. Next slide, please. So this is some of just like a quick graph showing the estimated grams of CO2 emissions emitted per mile. So it's in kilowatt hours for electric vehicles, and then gallons of gas for gas vehicles. Next slide, please.
Our development process consisted of looking at Amazon and all the factories in it and establishing what Amazon had planned before, which is the net zero plan for its electric vehicles. Through this, we were able to find a bunch of concerns Milford had due to Amazon, and we thought participation of Milford in this program would help it solve the Amazon concerns. Through this, we were able to establish statistics of traffic congestion and CO2 levels caused by Amazon vehicles, and we were able to find figures and consultants that we could use to communicate with Amazon. Our next steps include developing the beta for our tracking app and also polishing up our data and having a public meeting with the town of Milford and Amazon to continue our progress. Next slide. Our biggest question is how to expand Milford into other possible towns as well. This includes towns without Amazon facilities, as well as other residents who might be interested in this as well, since Massachusetts itself has a plan for electric vehicles by 2040. Next slide.
These graphs, so as you can see in the middle top one, there are a bunch of arrows pointing to it. So that's all the graphs surrounding it compiled together. So the first one is in the top left corner. That's the one that was on the previous slide, just showing the amount of CO2 emitted per mile. Then the one in the bottom left, that's kilograms of CO2 emissions per day. The one right next to that is kilograms of CO2 emissions per year. And then the final one in the top right is the kilograms of CO2 emissions per year after 3 years. So the reason we use that milestone is because after 3 years, there are 0 emissions from solar panels. So we figured that would be important to include. And I believe that is our last slide.
Great job, our Amazon group. Thank you for presenting. Our next group is a group from Marlborough High School looking at the effects of fast fashion on the environment. Fast fashion, the floor.
Hi, so our presentation is about fast fashion. Next slide, please. So I'm Adam Hussein, a high school junior at Marlborough High, and this is my first year in the STEM program. I'm interested in design and engineering.
I'm Jacob Naeem. Wait, can you hear me?
Mhm.
You can hear me?
Yep. All good.
All right, I'm Jacob Naeem. I'm a high school junior. This is my first year in this year's Self and STEM program, and I'm interested in physics and engineering.
Zoe. Yep, so Zoe Wilcox, also a high school junior. She's somewhere on this call, and also her first year, and she's interested in biochem and environmental science. Oh, no, sorry. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I think you might have been muted. And then we have another member named Ladiva Dow. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. And we just want to give a special thank you to our mentors, Roger Barnum and Carly Siegel, and really everybody at the MetroWest STEM Education Network. They've been really helpful and have really influenced our work in the program. Next slide, please. Oh, so yeah, I still think we can't hear you. Sorry about that, guys. So our project focus is we're working on the issue of fast fashion, like the overconsumption of unsustainable clothing from brands like H&M, Zara, and Forever 21. And our ultimate goal is to increase awareness and combat the unsustainability of fast fashion in our local community and really all around the world. And our underlying motivation is that this is a very relevant issue to our age group. And we really just kind of see this all around us. Next slide, please. And then here's our video that we submitted to the Teen Stream collab.
See this $7 basic white t-shirt? It alone costs about 3 years worth of drinking water for one person. These jeans, they cost about 13 years of drinking water. And this jacket, this costs about 24 years of drinking water. All of these examples are a part of the larger issue of fast fashion. Fast fashion is the sale and production of cheap clothing that lacks quality and longevity. The production of this clothing drains water from natural resources, contaminates local watersheds with harmful chemicals, and emits large amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere. The short lifespan of this clothing also contributes to a lot of global waste and pollution.
Malls all around us with stores like H&M, Zara, and Forever 21 appeal to such large numbers of people due to their extremely competitive pricing. These stores effectively dictate local buying trends for young adults and teenagers who know very little about their negative environmental impact.
And this isn't just a random issue either. The UN has actually identified this problem through the creation of their UN Sustainable Development Goal, number 12. Their focus is primarily on the agriculture and natural resources required to produce these goods. They, along with others, have released some pretty surprising facts on the matter. Our goal is to try to get you guys to start thinking a little bit more about what it is you buy. We want to promote more sustainable brands along with online and physical thrift stores, using social media campaigns, posters, and other methods that inform people about far better options to shop for clothes.
Instead of buying something like this white t-shirt from H&M, you get a similar looking one made out of 100% organic cotton from Everlane for only $18. You could also go to somewhere like the Garment District to pick up something unique and vintage for probably even less.
Through the polling attached to this video, we will be able to measure the impact of spreading our message, to see whether or not people would in fact shop at more sustainable places, and if they respond to the information they've learned in this video.
We're not asking you to shut down these stores or demanding the abolishment of these large corporations. We just want you to be a little bit more thoughtful about what it is you choose to buy and consider the impact it really has on our world.
Next slide, please.
See this $7 basic white t-shirt?
Accomplishing our goal. So we're trying to increase awareness and provide advice through just making sure I wasn't muted, through a educational social media campaign. We're trying to create a change in the average consumption habits that negatively impact the environment. We think this is effective because it offers a style of communication consistent with that of our target audience, namely teens and young adults who are on social media. This also gives people actionable steps to help fight this issue. It'll spotlight more sustainable options for shopping, like sustainable brands and local thrift stores. And it is very data-driven based on feedback received from the audience and trackable engagement on these social media platforms.
So this is a little bit of a roadmap for our group. From March to April, we'll brainstorm ideas for graphics and start creating them and posting them on social media pages. From April on, we'll spread pages to members of our local community and online forums to get the word out, and we'll try to also utilize polling to get more feedback. In May, we'll receive feedback from our first round of prototype testing, and in early June, we'll continue analyzing any data that we receive and build on and improve. In late June, we'll present our proposal to the See Yourself in STEM event, where we'll be able to gain more feedback from different outlets. And then after that, moving forward, we'll continue improving and adding on to our solution.
So our big question is, how can we ensure that what we produce translates to direct action from the consumer? Because that's really what dictates the effect the effectiveness of a social media campaign. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can feel free to leave them in chat, you can email us, or talk to us during the Q&A portion.
Excellent job. Thank you very much, Fast Fashion. Our next group, who we'll see their video, they are from Framingham High School, and their project focus is increasing the amount of energy produced by sustainable energy sources for Framingham High School.
Only 23% of the energy generated in Massachusetts was produced by renewable resources. Solar power accounts for only 14% of the total energy produced in Massachusetts. To incentivize more use of sustainable energy in our city and state, we made it our objective to improve energy usage at FHS. Framingham High School is a high school in northern Framingham, which is a suburb in northeast Massachusetts located in Middlesex County. At Framingham High School, traditional energy sources are not sustainable in the long term. The UN Sustainable Development Goal number 9 focuses on industry, innovation, and especially on infrastructure. The goal details the UN's desire to improve infrastructure for the sake of fostering sustainable industrialization. Since we are trying to improve the sustainability of Framingham High School's already inclusive electrical applications, we chose Goal 9.
Framingham High School, originally North Framingham High School, is the local high school. Due to the fact that it is the only high school in Framingham and the most popular school in Framingham, FHS uses quite a bit of energy. Combined with the fact that high school materials and resources are far more power consuming than the ones used in elementary and middle school, we are the school that needs the renewable energy the most. In order to present our ideas to the administration, we will gather information on implementing solar panels for FHS. Some departments that should be able to provide information specific to our case would include the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center, the solar energy industry. We will use specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. First, we will research how much solar panels cost, how long it will take us to install them in our school, and what the benefits and downsides of installing them are. Next, we will present these findings to the administration. Our goal is to have over half of the members of the administration in support of our goals by the end of 6 months.
With this change, we can hopefully better the lives of future generations and set a standard for our own. As Leo Tolstoy once said, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. By taking the step to improve our small city, we can try and set an example for other cities and towns to follow. This is us changing ourselves.
See this?
Wonderful. Thank you, all teams, for presenting. And now I'd like another chance to open the floor for questions or comments for our teams. I know there've been quite a few in the chat.
Right. Evan, I like to say again, another great set of presentation. But I noticed that with these projects, both Linda, Brian, maybe Jennifer as well, anyway, all refer to for as far as food waste, definitely fast fashion, and the issue, you know, of working with Amazon in some way, in a productive way with Amazon, is that are issues that are being addressed at this moment for probably some of the hubs or other youth groups, I think by the hubs. So this idea of connecting the work that other youth are already doing in the country and in the world on these topics to the work of these free groups are doing. I would like for Linda to elaborate more. I've just been reading all what it was posted in the chat, but there is a great opportunity here for collaboration. Linda, would you like to say more?
I just am so inspired. I think, I'm sorry I overwhelmed the chat. I just couldn't help myself. The teens just are way ahead of the adults on most of these issues is just the way it is. And they can create so much synergy by working together. These teens in Massachusetts have so many great ideas they can share with teens from the rest of the world. And you know, if we can sort of scale up what you're doing there in Massachusetts and other teams can learn from your experiences and vice versa, that you'll have much greater impact in the big picture long term. So I just encourage, I can put a link into the chat for how you get into our hubs, but I know our hubs would love to have you involved. And we're also looking to start new hubs. So I'm just so excited hearing all these presentations. So thank you, Irene.
Yeah, I think, in the next couple of weeks with our teams, we will really make sure that during our regular meetings, we promote these collaborations. Linda will definitely be in touch with you as well, so you can suggest best ways to get all these different groups to work together. Again, yeah, I love what Linda said, that you guys are so much more ahead of the adults that are concerned about these issues, of the older people who are concerned about these issues. So fantastic. Also, Brian, you were posting something more specific about food waste. Maybe you wanted to say some more?
Sure. Yeah. Just I want to congratulate everybody on the great work and the planning too. I mean, that's so important for success, right? You got to have a good plan. You guys did a fantastic job, all of you, in coming up with feasible plans and timelines and so forth. And also want to commend you on being proactive. That's so important with any sort of product like this. To just put ideas forward and start acting on them. So with respect to the food waste. One thing that I've done with some student groups around the area is food waste audits that, like Linda mentioned, and it's essentially just keeping track of what's being tossed out, and you can use that often to inform purchasing behavior of the school. And so maybe they're going to see like a lot of food that's going to waste that just doesn't get eaten. It's not popular, and so they can cut back on that. And so you just reduce it at the source. So that's also another thing that you might want to consider, is using your food waste data. And presenting that to whoever's responsible for those food purchases. And another thing I wanted to ask about was the Invent Team grant. So that's wonderful. I mean, that's one thing that we want to also offer to all of you, and then also teen groups around the country, is kind of a workshop on how to find more support for your projects. And so it's great to see that you're already doing that. Could you tell us a little bit more about Invent Team?
I can tell you, because that was part of the news that we wanted to share. So with the input from all our youth, the McAuliffe Center submitted an application to Invent Team with actually Lee, our own lead educator on the application. And we just last week got news that we were selected to go into phase 2. So the Invent Team application is divided in 2 phases. The first, you propose as an institution, it's an organization that has to have a lead educator. And so we apply with the input and say, these are the projects all our youth are working on, and these are the projects we would like to pursue. So the good news is that we've been invited to submit a full application by the end of the summer, which is going to be pretty exciting to have to work on this during the summer. But the point is that, so will be a more robust, of course, more, not robust, but more detailed application with more details about the projects we would like to pursue. But if we are successful, the award is $10,000 to be spent on the design and actual implementation of the project at a significant scale. And no matter what, I think several of the students already shared that they've been, part of a process to apply, which is in itself a very important learning experience. I would imagine that you guys would share that. But the point is that for being the first time we apply as an organization and be already accepted to phase 2, it's quite a bit of a success. We are very, very happy about that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, congratulations. Love to hear more about those details follow up.
We will definitely do that. I saw that Cara did put the link to the website with all the hubs associated with Collab. I know that people were asking about that. So you can find all the hubs there. I know there were several questions, and there was something about the mentoring aspect of the project. And I know the question that was asking the students about their experience with the mentors, but I wanted to take the opportunity, since we have a few mentors on the meeting, on the call today, if any of the mentors would like to share something about their experience in working with the youth, or also, you know, maybe this was the first time you saw all the presentation in together, you know, some of your feedback or reactions to the presentations. Any of the mentors?
Hello, my name is Leontine Aka, and I'm a mentor for the water pollution bottles. And I'm been very amazed by the creativity, the inspiration of the youth. As I always said, we never stop to learn. As long as we are in this world, we have something to learn. So we not really, it's not like a one-way relation that has been going on. From this youth also, we are getting, which, as we said, they are in a different level of technologies that we didn't really have when we are growing up. And the way they are using it is so amazing for us. And it's also pumped us to go and research in some of the basic or some of the things. And it's like we're also growing on all those processes. And I'm amazed by the idea they come with that. And sometimes they may not be maybe 100% sure about the way to address some of the things. So it's like we getting from each other something. And this experience has been really something that I find is so excited at my level, and exchanging also with the other mentors. We coming from different, we have like different background, and you see like some, each of us has different way of pushing, different angle and so forth. And it's like, for me, it's like a complementarity work as a group, student, mentor, and also the Macaulay Centers have been doing a fantastic job. I'm going to clap for you guys, because I was really uncertain about how am I going to really have my input in the process of being mentor in an official way, because I never really did that in an official way. Usually I do that in a like one-to-one or small group and in official. And this has been a very good learning process for me, and I'm learning a lot. And I appreciate also when you went to the meeting with the hub and the collab, to find out that it's like all over the world that there are youth that has been able to put together and explore idea about how can we even make it even more, like reach out some places that we cannot imagine. I saw kids from different places of the world, but I still see that there's some part of the world that are missing. And I'm trying to figure out how collaborate with the Macaulay and see how we can reach those parts of the world that are not really represented in the groups that are seen here, and hear what they have to learn and how they have to bring to the groups.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Leah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Kathleen. And she say mentoring this project has been not only fun and exciting, but incredibly inspiring. Yeah, I think inspiration is a key word for this experience. All of us at different moments in different contexts have been really inspired by the work of the youth. And I personally have been very inspired by the mentors. So one more time, big thank you to all the mentors that really put so much of their personal time, it's an emotional load too. It's not just intellectual, right? Many of them were able to switch to new times to meet with the youth, because it was easier for the students to meet at like Friday at 6 p.m. Our mentors do show up, believe it or not. So I think it's really great. Maybe if there is a student or two who would like to share about their experience with the mentors.
Yeah, sure. They've honestly, the mentors, so Roger and Carly are our main mentors, like when we enter breakout rooms and start working, and they've just been so helpful and like instrumental in like the progress that we've made with our project. Whenever we have something that we're trying to work out, or whenever we have trouble with something, they always push us further and like help us find the next step, and then consider aspects of our issue that we may not be already, or just really like facilitate the brainstorming in a very productive way. And then even when we get back, the feedback that we get from the entire group and getting to meet with some other schools and other like STEM leaders has just been really great, because it gives you a perspective of what it's really like to be in the field, and how STEM people really approach these sort of problems, and how we can kind of model that maybe on a smaller scale, but like still create something effective and still create something that we're proud of, that creates a positive change.
Wonderful, thank you, Adam. And we should say, since Adam just spoke, he also was one of our students who applied for an internship with the Smithsonian to keep working on this project, and we are very happy that he was accepted there. But I'm saying this here very publicly, is that he cannot cut his time with this mentoring program. He hasn't. Yes, just to add the internship. Yeah. Any other student who would like to comment on working with the mentors or on their experience with the project?
I just wanted to say thank you to our mentors. So our group has Jeff, Callie, and Matt, and they've been really helpful. Similar to Adam, like they help us with our brainstorming process, and especially because they have the experience in the STEM fields, they're able to help us not only like technically with like what we need to know going into it, but also like making sure that our thoughts are focused and really getting us to pinpoint where we want this project to go and how we're going to get there. And that's been extremely helpful.
Thank you, Natalie. Natalie is also one of our mentorship ambassadors. So she helped, she was part of the program last year, and she really helped in the phase of recruitment this year. So thank you for your work. Any other student who would like to share experience working with their mentors? You can just post it in the chat if you don't want to come on screen. That's perfectly fine.
I just want to say thank you to our team has been mentored by Kathleen and Nicole, but also just all of the mentors who are willing to give us so much feedback and help us like just really make our project the best that it can be. Especially, I don't remember her name, but I think her name is Michelle, who's helping us learn coding. It's been just that little like kickoff to look at the different websites that we can use and the different ways that we can help teach herself, and the ways that she can help teach us has been amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, so maybe so other people can understand. So Michelle is a more recent, is a mentor of recent acquisition. When we realized there were so many students who were working on ideas that included apps, one of our team members, Laura, said, let me reach out to Michelle, who is a graduate of Marlboro High. Is that correct, Laura? Please correct me if I'm not. And she's currently in college, right? And so Laura contacted Michelle and said, we need students to work on apps, and this again, and under mentorship opportunity that came out there. Because I know some earlier, Linda was asking about recruiting mentors. Honestly, Laura has been really our the person who, she knows many of the mentors already, but has been working really hard to reach out to the mentors. And we as a team, stay in touch with all of you guys as much as possible. So really try to provide support, and most of all, hear feedback. The mentors have provided really critical feedback that has been implemented over time. And sometimes it may be changes that are not apparent on the surface, but are fundamentally for the work that we do behind the scenes.
And Irene, if I can just add, in the spirit of sustainability, we like to reuse and recycle our mentors. So, this is not the first time we've done a mentorship program. We started in person in 2019 or 2018? So, many have come along with us or have referred for us. And also one of our mentors, who's a workforce development expert at Marlboro High School, Amanda Chenier, has helped us on the workforce development side with her connections. So it's, we're really trying to use the sustainability model with recruiting as well.
I like that idea. There is a question from Jennifer to the students who are working on the app. I think she's asking, are you teaching yourselves how to create the apps you propose? Can any of you elaborate on the work you're doing with the apps and how you're learning?
I think we have a couple teams that have some interesting approaches. If Olivia or Elizabeth is here, could you talk about how your design process going from a Google site over to an app?
Yeah, so for our prototype, we started with a Google site to see how everything will work out, and we plan on testing that first. And then we plan on reaching out to some experts who have some more information on app design to transfer the information from the website into the app.
All right. Just want to be also aware of time, Evan. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I really appreciate everyone joining. The work for the next about month for our teams is they are really going to focus on their prototypes and have a working model by June. So we'll have a presentation in June with their final prototypes. So we will make sure to share that information once that presentation is scheduled and ready to go. But we very much appreciate everyone taking time to hear our presentations from our students. Great job, teams. And if our students could just stay after just for a couple seconds. Excellent job.
And again, thank you to Jennifer, Linda, and Brian, and others if I join from a Smithsonian or from a judging team. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. And I just want to let you all know